All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about a tool that kicked things off by helping build mobile apps, but now? Now it's aiming to build, well, pretty much everything. Yeah, we're talking about Flutter and its incredible evolution into what some are calling the universal architect for the entire app world.
And look, that's not just hype. As developer Emma Bosnathani says, Flutter is a genuine game changer. But what does that actually mean for you and me? It means we're looking at a huge shift in how we actually create the digital stuff that we use every single day.
So, how did we even get here? First, we're going to break down its core promise, this idea of one codebase, all screens. Then, we'll look at how it blew past that to become a universal app builder. We'll also dive into the awesome community that's really driving its growth. And finally, we'll get real about the challenges and the super exciting future it's facing. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Let's talk about the big idea that made everyone pay attention to Flutter in the first place. This promise of writing code once for every single screen out there. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the problem it solves. For years, if you wanted an app on an iPhone and an Android phone, guess what? You had to build it twice. This headache is called cross-platform development, and it's the exact monster Flutter was created to slay. And I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? The old way, it was a mess. You had different teams writing different code for every single platform. It was slow, it was super expensive, and you'd often get these weirdly inconsistent apps. But the Flutter way, it just completely flips the script. It's all about radical simplification. One team, one single code base that just deploys everywhere. It's that simple. And why does that matter? Well, the impact is huge. It means developers get to spend way less time fighting with little platform-specific bugs and a whole lot more time actually creating and launching cool stuff. And for any business, that means getting your ideas out into the world faster and cheaper than ever. But here's the thing. Flutter's ambition didn't just stop with phones. That was just the warm-up. And this brings us to its next big phase, becoming a true universal app builder and pushing way beyond that original mobile horizon. So it started with mobile, right? It totally nailed iOS and Android. But then it just kept going. Its reach stretched out to the web, then to desktop apps for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And now it's even getting into embedded systems. You know, the software that powers things like those interactive kiosks at the mall or smart displays. One codebase is now running in all these different spots. It's kind of wild. The value here is just so clear. You get this massive cost efficiency because you're not paying multiple teams to build the same thing over and over. You get insane speed to market. You can launch new features for everyone, everywhere, all at once. And maybe most importantly, you get brand consistency. Your app looks and feels exactly the same, no matter where your user finds it. And this isn't one of those write once, run, okay-ish, everywhere situations. No way. Flutter is absolutely obsessed with performance. It uses its own graphics engine called Skia to basically paint every single pixel on the screen. The result? Buttery, smooth animations and super fast load times, even on phones that aren't the latest and greatest. Say goodbye to laggy apps. Now, a technology this ambitious doesn't just happen in a corporate lab somewhere. And that brings us to our third section, the incredible community that's like the gravity holding this whole expanding universe together. You know, it's easy to just think of Flutter as a Google thing, but that brings up a really interesting question. In today's world, who is really building Flutter? And the answer might actually surprise you. According to Martin Jarrett, who founded CodeMagic, Flutter is now, for all intents and purposes, a community product. He points out that the top contributors, the people writing the most code and pushing the whole thing forward, they're not even Google employees anymore. That is a huge, huge shift. So what does this community actually provide? Well, it's the lifeblood of the whole ecosystem. We're talking about a massive ocean of packages and plugins that solve problems so you don't have to. There's a real feeling of collaboration that you see at meetups and conferences all over the world. It's just this giant pool of shared knowledge that makes it easier for everyone to build amazing things. But let's be real. The path forward is never a straight line. For our last section, let's get a balanced view of Flutter's journey. Let's talk about the obstacles it's facing and the incredible opportunities just over the horizon. So, what's Flutter's biggest hurdle? Interestingly, Martin Jarrett argues it's not a technical one. He says, technically speaking, there's almost nothing you can't do with it. The real issue? It's a branding problem. And wow, this quote really hits the nail on the head. Jarrett describes the conviction of veteran developers as almost like a religious one. Think about it. If you're a developer who has spent, half your life mastering a tool, maybe native Android, maybe iOS, and someone asks you to switch, that's not just a technical choice, it's an identity shift. And that is a really tough sell. But looking ahead, man, the future is exciting. We're seeing deep integration with AI to build way smarter apps, the new stable support for WebAssembly, which is this tech that lets you get near native performance right in a web browser. That's going to make Flutter on the web even faster. And all the new competition out there, it's just forcing everyone in the Flutter ecosystem to innovate and get better, which is great for all of us. All of this leaves us with one last fascinating question to chew on. As Flutter keeps expanding, you have to wonder, is our digital future going to be built by one universal architect like this, something that can build for every screen imaginable? Or will specialized platform-specific tools always be king? Honestly, the answer to that is going to define the next decade of app development.